Hello, and I want to thank you for tuning in to my live telebroadcast, a telebroadcast that I try to get out at least once a week. Every last one of my telebroadcast messages are supposed to be 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes, but some do exceed 10 minutes. But this particular telebroadcast message is going to be about approaching the crossroad in our life. Approaching the crossroad. I do expect everyone that listens to my message to listen to it with open mind. Also, not only to listen with an open mind, but to try to understand it with a little bit of understanding. Don't just turn it on and be distracted, because then you won't get the full understanding of the message. What I would recommend for you to do is to turn off the other apparatuses around you. If you got your TV on, your radio on, or something that's distracting you, turn it off. You might get a better understanding of the message. But here's the message. As we approach the crossroad in our life and reflect on the consequences, which was a direct result from our actions or choices we made growing up, we begin to take note that we have the power to either accept or reject our present circumstances and look past our future situations. See, the morphology of our lives is often scrutinized by others through a typical lens. Others view their own world through. Let me repeat that so you can understand what I just said. The morphology of our lives is often scrutinized by others through a typical lens. Others view their own world through. Most of the time, either the lens they're looking through is focused on only the life they experienced and what they know. And what they don't understand, they normally assume. Whether they're right or whether they're wrong, it doesn't matter. Their world could be shaped out of neglect, negativity, hate, lies, hypocrisy, gossip, and sin. And the same circumstances around in their life, they will assume is in your life. Many people will judge you according to your reactions, even if they don't know what is the cause of the reaction, which they never do. Many people will take the time out of their life to judge, but never invest the time to understand, and have all the time in the world to sit there and assume. And whenever we lack understanding, we leave plenty of room for confusion that leads directly to complications. That's one of the reasons why understanding is very important. Lack of understanding leads to uncertainty and also leads to confusion. I have realized that most of the times when an intellectual conversation is conducted, there's very little understanding taken away from that conversation. They only take away from the things that they know, not the entirety of the conversation. Only what they understand, not what the understanding of the conversation is about. And the frustrating part is repeating yourself. Do you get tired of repeating yourself to some people sometimes? And then you think that they're not really paying attention because their mind is being distracted? It's not because their mind is being distracted. It's because they do not understand what you're saying. Sometimes you even have to second guess yourself, assuming that what you said was completely dumb or ignorant or didn't make any sense. But then you later on, you realize that the person that you were speaking to is the ones that had no idea what you was talking about in the first place. Sometimes you have to ask the person, do you understand what I'm talking about? Or ask them, did they understand the content that came out of your mouth? Then you have to turn the volume down. If they don't understand what you're saying, then you have to turn the volume down just a little bit so that they can understand. You have to use words that they can understand, like pretty much like basic words. But that's when it's time to make a life-changing decision. Whether or not you're going to continue being around people that is going to pull you down to a level that you already been at and prevent you from elevating to the next level and surrounding yourself around people that understand where you're trying to get to, or you're going to just continue to stay exactly where you at. You have to come up with a plan, a course of action to execute the plan. Without executing the plan, you're just left with another thought amongst other thoughts and ideas. See, the decision and direction in which we travel will define the determination of our fate. Time equally plays a significant part that will define the outcome of the determination that you make. Fate is appointed in designated times and dimensions through paradigms. That's why it is imperative to always take a step back and understand what's in front of us, rather than take steps forward and lack the understanding of what we're going through. There's a chance that as we approach this crossroad, we might double back out of fear and walk back down the same road that we had just came from or came through. Walking back in the same situation, just on a different day, or dealing with the same set of circumstances with a new approach. We are afraid to shift our paradigm to an entire different dimension. But how will you ever know how difficult the challenges another road could be unless you traveled on it? Some of us only know one way to our house and one way to our favorite store. Some of us just like taking the easy way, not because of the complexity of life, but because of the simplicity of people that can create their worlds to be. The side effects of that can be living a life of regret, not because of the life you're living, but because you never knew the other life you could have lived, or regretting the person someone programmed you to be instead of becoming the person you never knew, or the person that you wanted to become. Ask yourself, do you possess the right criteria to maximize your full potential, developing your sense of awareness? Do you have self-control, possess self-management, or have self-discipline? Are you selfish? Are you inconsiderate? Are you disrespectful? Do you sit around criticizing and gossiping or lusting after things that you know you have no business having? Can you respond accordingly, react sufficiently, or even speak intelligently when you have the opportunity to speak intelligently? Do you understand there are situations in life you could have prevented or avoided altogether? And there are unforeseen circumstances that you really had no control over. Most of the issues we see as a problem in our minds are capable of being solved. But instead of solving the problems in our mind, we accept the problems with our heart. Most people don't give up because of the trials and errors or obstacles or tribulations. They give up because their life they're living becomes blurry, or their life is completely out of focus. The vision of where they're going is not crystal clear. We forget about the vision and only focus on what we see directly in front of us. Instead of analyzing the big picture, we are only concerned with who took the picture. And if something or someone is in the picture that we don't want inside of that picture, we forget about the whole entire picture. Sometimes we need to look past what we see to get us where we need to be in life. We can't continue to let the small stuff bother us, because if we continue to let the small stuff bother us, we will always be in the same spot we started. Then you will always start, but then you will never ever finish. If we continue to take the easy road and not the difficult road, we will be counting on everything in our life to be easy for the rest of our life. When you approach the crossroads in your life, you have to ask yourself, are you ready to take this trip alone? You have to know within the confinements of your mind that making this choice to stepping out isn't enough, but believing that you made the right decision and knowing within your heart that your purpose is to take the road you choose and not the road that you second guess. Because when you second guess, that's a tricky form of doubt. And once doubt is allowed to enter into your mind, fear is not that far away. So when you make it to the crossroad, stand with confidence and know that the only road you navigate will be the road of success. Know that the path you chose will be the path of victory. Forget about where you came from and only focus on where you want to be. Don't worry about the critics, the naysayers, or the obstacles that may get in your way. Hold your head up high and say you're going to walk down this road of success, that you're going to be victorious at the end. Walk with the look of determination. Walk with the look of enthusiasm, because the road that you're on was carved out just for you. Not your friend, not your family, and definitely not your enemy or your naysayers or your critics. There might be traffic delays due to road work, weather conditions, or even a few trees that may fall down on the road, but you keep on traveling. There might be times when you might have to take an alternate route, but as long as you get back on the same road at some point in time, you'll be all right. You may fall down, but pick yourself back up. You may run out of energy or lose focus, but refocus and energize yourself. The pressures of life may drive you to want to turn around, but when you look back over your life and see how far you have came, or where you came from, you will begin to realize that you don't have far to go. Once you refocus the lens in your spiritual eye, you will then remember what your future will look like at the end of the road you're traveling on. And just the fact of knowing that you can turn around at any point in time on this road you're traveling down and go back to doing the same things you used to do, and then pressing forward becomes a priority. Life has a funny way of reminding us of the situations and circumstances that we've been through, by allowing us to endure the long hours, weeks, or sometimes years of pain, anxiety, or even heartaches. But keep in mind that the conditioning process of this endurance is necessary. It makes you stronger. The vision of your success will see the outcome of your future, and the determination of your will ultimately determine your wealth. Never back down and never give up. Don't give your critics or your adversaries the opportunity to say, you know what, that person fails. Never give your critics or your adversaries the opportunity to show you that you could not become the things that you wanted to become. Never let anyone stand in your way to go in the direction that you're trying to go. You press forward, go inside the direction that you're going, and never look back. Take that crossroad. Don't be afraid to walk across that road, because when you walk across the road, life is going to be a little bit different to you. Don't even worry about the naysayers. Worry about what people are saying. Worry about how people view you. Worry about what people have to say about your character. Your character, what people say about you, is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is the fact that you're trying to go forward. The only thing that's relevant is the fact you're trying to improve yourself. Wow, what a powerful word. That word was so powerful that I didn't even think I could make it in 10 minutes. But I'm glad you guys decided to stick in there. And if you want to hear more of this message, you will have to inbox me. That's why I only give 10 minutes of a message. I don't want to sit there and take too much of your time. But I thank you very much for tuning in to this live telebroadcast. And until next time, I want you guys to know that God is real and that you can change your life at any given moment. When you reach a crossroad in your life, don't be afraid to go across. When you reach the crossroad in your life, don't be afraid to make that left or make that right. Don't second guess yourself. Just turn. And once you turn, just know that the road you're going on is a road of success. When you turn, you know that the road that you're going down is a road of victory. When you turn, you make sure that you know within your heart that this road that you're going down is the only road that's going to take you to the success of your future. But until next time, I want you guys to take it easy, and I will talk to you guys again later on. Have a blessed day.